All right, let's dive into something really powerful today. It's a dream, but it's more than that. It's a story about a journey that starts with a huge crowd of people, but you'll see, only a handful actually make it to the end. This is a deep dive into what it really means to keep going when, well, when everything is on the line.
So picture this. The dream kicks off with a massive group of people, all setting out on a journey together. The path in front of them seems clear, but it's narrow. And right away, it starts going uphill. You get the sense immediately that this is not going to be some casual stroll in the park. No, this is a test, right from the very first step.
And the tension just ramps up immediately. On one side, you've got this high, perfectly smooth white wall. It looks solid, but there's nothing to grab onto. And on the other side, a sheer, steep drop into a deep abyss. So they're basically sandwiched between this blank wall and a terrifying fall. There's absolutely zero room for error.
So, the dream journey begins. The path ahead is wide, but spoiler alert, it will not stay that way. At first, there's this almost optimistic vibe. You see this huge group and they look like they're totally prepared for whatever's coming. But that feeling, it's completely deceptive. The real challenge, the real test, it's just around the corner, waiting.
Okay, so at the very beginning, this crowd has brought, well, everything. We're talking heavily loaded wagons just packed with all their possessions. But almost right away, things start to change. The path starts to climb, and it gets narrower and steeper. And suddenly, all those wagons, all that stuff they thought they needed, they go from being helpful assets to massive liabilities, really, really fast.
All right, so now we're shedding every burden because the path demands sacrifice. And this right here, this is the core theme of the entire dream. As the path gets harder and harder, the travelers are forced into making some really tough choices. It becomes crystal clear that if you want to move forward, you've got to be willing to let things go. The path itself is demanding that they make sacrifices.
So the first sacrifices, they're kind of logical, but man, they must have been hard to make. First, the wagons are just too wide for the path, so they have to go. They get unhitched. Then the travelers try to save what they can, their most precious stuff, by loading it all into their horses. But pretty soon, even that's too much. The path gets so narrow that the luggage is scraping against the wall, and it's threatening to shove them right over the edge. So what do? They have to cut it all loose. Just let it all tumble into the abyss below.
But the unburdening doesn't stop there. The path keeps getting narrower, and soon the horses themselves are a liability. They're a danger, so they have to be left behind too. Now everyone is on foot, and to get a better grip on the slippery path, they take off their shoes, and then, can you believe it, even their stockings. They are left with literally nothing but themselves, walking barefoot on this incredibly difficult path. And you see, at every single one of these changes, some people were just left behind. It's like each sacrifice was a filter. Every time they had to let something go, a few more people would just give up and turn back. The only ones who kept pushing forward were the ones who were already used to hardship, the ones who knew that comfort wasn't the point of the journey.
So now we enter this new phase, the perilous pathway. This is when earthly support fails, but a new kind is given, right at the moment when it seems absolutely impossible to go on. Every single earthly possession and comfort has been stripped away. The whole nature of the journey shifts. A totally new kind of support shows up, and it's not something that comes from them or their own strength.
So what is it? Well, suddenly, these small cords are let down from the very top of that pure white wall. The travelers, you can imagine, just eagerly grasp onto them. These cords become their lifeline. They're the only thing keeping them balanced as the path shrinks to almost nothing at all.
And you start to hear them cry out, "We have hold from above! We have hold from above!" This becomes their chant, their mantra. Think about that wording. They're not just holding on. They feel like they are being held. It's this powerful declaration of total dependence on that support from above. And repeating it over and over, it's not just for themselves, it's a way to encourage everyone else in the group.
But while they're clinging to these cords, trying to focus upward, this wall of sound starts rising from the abyss below. It's just a chaotic mess of everything they've left behind. You hear profane oaths and vulgar jokes, war songs, dance music, but also loud laughter, cursing, and then these heart-wrenching cries of anguish and wailing. All these sounds are a constant, nagging distraction, trying to pull their attention downward, away from the path.
Okay, a new section, blood, pain, and hope, because the wall itself becomes a record of the struggle.
As the travelers keep inching forward, hanging from these cords and scraping against that white wall, the dreamer notices a new detail. And it's a really visceral, powerful image, one that completely changes how they see this whole journey.
The dreamer says, "I noticed that the beautiful white wall was stained with blood." And the initial reaction is one of, well, regret. This perfect, pure white surface has been marred, it's been damaged. At first, it feels like a sign of failure, like they've done something wrong.
But then, that feeling just flips completely. It turns into this profound realization. They realize that seeing the blood means they'll know that others have endured this exact same pain. That blood isn't a stain of shame at all. It's a message. It's proof that other people have been on this same path, that they've suffered, they've bled, and they kept going. The pain of those who went before leaves a trail of hope for everyone who comes after.
All right, now for the final chasm, the ultimate test of faith. After everything they've been through, shedding every burden, clinging to those cords, all the painful progress, the journey hits its final and most terrifying obstacle. The path just stops. It comes to a complete, sudden end.
At length, we came to a large chasm, at which our path ended. The path is literally gone. The only thing left connecting them to the other side is that single cord they've been holding on to this whole time, and you can just imagine the physical toll this takes. Sweat is pouring down their faces. You can see veins bulging on their arms. You hear these agonizing groans of pure fear and effort. Their entire journey has been leading up to this one single moment.
And in this moment of just complete vulnerability, a question is whispered fearfully through the group. It's the only question that matters now. To what is the cord attached? Think about it. They've put all their trust in this cord this entire time. But what's on the other end? Where is it coming from? And then the answer comes, and it changes everything. Someone says, God holds the cord. We need not fear. It's not a question. It's a statement of pure faith, spoken with this sudden, complete certainty. And that realization just spreads through the group like a wave, giving them the courage they need to take that final step. The cord isn't just some random thing. It's being held by a divine, totally trustworthy source. And that brings us to the end, a field of perfect peace. With that one piece of assurance, that one statement of faith, they do it. They take the final leap. One by one, they swing across the enormous chasm. And the place they land, it's the total, complete opposite of the struggle they just went through.
Look at this contrast. The journey was all about that fearful abyss and just agonizing struggle, right? But the destination? It's a beautiful, serene field, and it's filled with the sound of triumphant praise. The transformation is just absolute.
And the dreamer puts it perfectly. And oh, what a sense of relief and gratitude to God we felt. I was happy, perfectly happy. That really says it all, doesn't it? All the fear, all the anguish, it's just washed away and replaced by this overwhelming feeling of relief, gratitude, and just perfect happiness. The reward wasn't just being safe, it was this profound peace and joy.
And then, just like that, the dreamer awoke. But the journey was so vivid, so unforgettable, that it lingered physically. They wake up with every nerve in a tremor. This shows it wasn't just some passing dream or a neat little story. No, this was a deeply felt experience that left a permanent mark.
So of course, the journey in the dream required leaving everything behind. And that brings the whole allegory back around to us, to you and me. That journey showed that to make any progress, they had to let go of their wagons, their luggage, even their most basic comforts. So that leaves us with a final, really important question to think about. What is your wagon? What are the things that you carry, the possessions, the ambitions, maybe even the comforts, that might be holding you back on your own narrow path?